Can you also talk about data cloud in general? And because the way I see it, data cloud is solving two different use cases. One is the whole identity resolution, party, the individual object, the kind of marketing slash CDP type use case, right? And the other is its ability to now pull data from disparate sources for consumption for AI. And I know Salesforce has done a lot of work, and there was some big announcements last week. So curious how you're seeing the evolution of product. What were your experiences with it?
Yeah, with the unified profile, it's very important to understand what how data cloud can support you there. Some customers may look at it as an MDM solution, which it's not really. It has some of the functionality. So that's a clear distinction of where I found that we started to look at it in that fashion. And really, it didn't solve the MDM component of it, but allowed us to unify that customer where we were able to, through the matching rules and things of that nature, and bring it in to create that unified individual. So with data cloud, I think that's imperative, especially when pulling from different sources. Now, one great thing about it is that your systems probably already have like foreign keys inside of them. So linking them within data cloud should be fairly straightforward to do. Now, you mentioned something that was great, which was the zero copy. Now, zero copy is extremely advantageous, especially to get started for organizations, such as the previous organization we were at. We leveraged had a lot of data in Snowflake that was cleansed data that we leveraged for reporting. Now, that's quality data that we could leverage and start leveraging right out the gate through zero copy and creating DMO objects and bringing in that data. We're able to leverage it for our agents in a quicker time fashion. But the other thing I love about it is the fact that even though I came from the integration space originally, you don't have to create those additional integrations, right? So let's say a bad batch went through in an integration into Snowflake. You don't have to worry about updating that data in Data Cloud anymore. As you cleanse it in Snowflake, it will be replicated or accessible via Data Cloud through Zero Copy. Now, one thing I would say is to ensure that you understand your consumption and how those are going to work. We all know if you've been in consulting or even just in IT in general, if you ask a business, do you need it real time? They'll always say yes, right? That I need it like as soon as the user clicks enter, I want to see that reflected. But the reality is a lot of the systems in the back end aren't real time. So ensure you have the right mechanisms in place. So for instance, if you're running a calculated insight, you don't need a streaming insight if one of your or a couple of your underlying attributes come in a batch function that determine the action. But that's another beauty thing about Agentforce and Data Cloud that I just wanted to touch upon. Because as we were starting these journeys, there folks started to approach me with ideas saying, "Hey, why don't you create a headless agent that looks for these attributes? And if they match, then trigger a process off." And I'm like, "That's a great idea, but I can achieve that through a calculated insight in a much cost efficient manner to do." So I think they're within generative AI. And as you go through this, I know I'm jumping here. As you go through generative AI, it's very important as use cases come in to determine, is it a general AI use case? Is it an automation use case? Or is it a calculated insight flash trigger type use case to decipher like what is the best path forward in order to enable your business?